Now that we've created our project, we need to talk about what we're going to do with this new project. So the first thing we need to know about is the canvas. So this blank place right here is called the canvas, and you'll notice there's this checkerboard pattern. It's different than like most art design programs where it's white that you might be used to. This is kind of an advanced feature of Google Drawings. It's pretty neat. So this is basically a transparent layer, meaning if you were to draw something on top of this and then save it, all of the part that's still checkerboard would be invisible. So I could draw like a circle here, and if I were to download this, I could put it on a website, I could make it my Twitter profile, I could post it on Facebook, and the picture would have the dimensions of this canvas, but you would only see this circle. So that's what this checkerboard is, and that'll make more sense as I talk about some of these other tools in a minute. So the next thing we want to be able to do with the canvas is to change the size. The easiest way, but probably the least useful way, is this button down here. So if you see these little lines down here in the corner, you can kind of drag and rearrange this thing and make it big or small. Now you can't really tell what you're doing here, and you don't know the inches or pixel dimensions, so you don't really have any idea what size this really is. So if you do want to change the dimensions of the picture, I suggest that you go to File, Page Setup, and there are the basic dimensions that are used for stuff in presentations, or like presentation size for slides. So like, for example, widescreen 16:9 is like what Google Slides or a television kind of size is, kind of what you see when you look at your computer screen. But you also have the option of custom, and so I kind of like this because you could, for example, do 8.5 by 11 inches and make it, this is now the size of a piece of copy paper, so I could make like a worksheet or something here, and you know, put whatever I need people to see on there. Now another thing that you could do here is, and I like to keep something like this, is just a little cheat sheet like this for social media. So like here is like Twitter. You know, if I want to make one that's 1500 by 500 for my banner image, or if I want to make a new avatar, I could do 400 by 400 pixels. So that would work the same way. I just have to hop back over here, go to Page Setup, and go into Custom and change this to pixels. And then if I go 1500 by 500, this would be what I'd create for a Twitter banner. So those are just kind of the things you can do once you know how to manipulate the canvas. I'm just going to go back to a standard 4x3 here, and then we'll play around with it a little bit. Some of the other tools that you'll want to know about, you have up here across the top. I'm going to skip over, this is obviously print, undo, redo, common things that you probably know from other programs. This is a zoom tool, so you can zoom in on your image. This is your select tool, so this is good to have if you want to select a group. And then you have your lines. So these are all pretty self-explanatory, but I want to show off a couple of these that are extremely useful in my opinion. The first one is polyline. If you can use polyline, you can make any shape you want. So if I want to do like a picture of a t-shirt, there's my t-shirt. Sorry, not a great t-shirt, but you get the idea. With polyline, I can also, if I find a picture that I kind of want to do my own take on, so let me look for a picture of a pumpkin. And so this is a cool pumpkin. Now maybe I want to use this pumpkin, but I don't want the background. If I do a polyline, I can do a really quick and dirty outline of this pumpkin like this. Okay, and then I'm going to make this guy orange. I'm actually going to push that to the back for a second, and I'm going to make another layer with the polyline. And this will be the stem part of the pumpkin. And I'm going to make this guy to a green color. Now I'm going to delete the original picture, and now I have a pretty neat little pumpkin here. So that's why I think polyline is cool, because you can kind of smash that up with other stuff that you want to create to make your own pictures. So the next thing is your basic shapes. So these are just if you want to draw shapes for graphic organizers. These things are really great. And you have basically you have your basic shapes. There's some fun stuff in here too if you want to get crazy with design, arrows. You have callouts for like text, speech bubbles, things like that if you want to do like a comic strip. Let me draw a little call out here. One of the cool things about the shapes on here is you can manipulate them to a pretty great degree. So you have your little yellow knobs and your blue squares and your blue knobs. So blue knobs turn or rotate. Blue squares constrain or stretch, and then yellow can also affect like some of the more special parts, curves, things like that. So I'll leave that there. Next you will have text boxes, so I could write some text here. Go on and say hello. And any shape is also a text box, just throw that out there. If you double click on a text on a shape, you can have it have text in there. So if I resize this a little bit, there we go. Now we have our pumpkin talking about how he's a pumpkin. I got a little text box up here. So there's that. So just with those baseline level tools, there's a whole ton of stuff that you can be doing to create things. Another thing that's really worth knowing about is if you come up here to insert and find word art, this gives you a little more control over what your text looks like if you are into the design element at all. So if I want this to say pumpkin, I can create a word art, type that in, and then maybe I want to use like a Halloweenish font, so I can do this. Any shape also will come default with this outline. And if you want to change your lines or colors or any of that stuff, you just use these tools. So I'm going to go and make this a red color. I want the outside line to be that gray. And then I want the outer line to be a heavier weight. So I'm going to put 4. And the thing that kind of sets word art apart from text is that you can kind of drag it and constrain it to be different sizes. So I can make it really skinny, I can make it really tall, I can squish it in really close, or I can pull it out really far. A lot of stuff you can do with your word art. So with that, you can also insert pictures. So if I go to image, I can go upload, so upload something from my computer. I can take a snapshot, which is going to use my camera on my computer to allow me to take a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera on, and I can pull up a picture of myself. I'm using my camera right now, so you won't be able to see me. I can find one from the internet. I can do one from pictures that I have on my Google account. I can also pull them from my drive, and then I can search for them, and that makes this really useful because a lot of times when you're making manipulatives or you're trying to do composition or composite pictures, or if you're just making just trying to have a little fun with it, I can search for a if I want a fish, you're going to get photos, but then you can kind of drill down a little deeper, go clip art, find this little guy here, and I want to insert him into my picture. So now I got a fish. It's a fish pumpkin all of a sudden. Okay, so those are all the different things I can use in the design. So you have a variety of ways to put text, to create shapes, to insert art from clip art that you search on the internet, or stuff directly from your computer. So you have such a wide variety of things. It really does become useful once you start to think of the ways that you can use this in the classroom, which we will be talking about as we move further.